New class alert. Please, we got a new class upcoming. Who are the allies of Allah and the allies of Shaitan? Taught by Ustada Layla Nashiba. I know you're not going to want to miss this. So please stay tuned, okay? Streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Faithful friend or enemy.
Democratic Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page. Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new class, the Muqasid of Tafsir, being taught and brought to you by Ustada Layla Nashiba. Please stay tuned, streaming on all major platforms, right here on channel Sunnahfollowers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brother and sister. I just saw Brother Muhammad here in Salat al-Jum'ah, alhamdulillah. It's an honor to speak on a very important topic. I just discussed with Brother Muhammad, and Brother Muhammad is going to speak with you, inshallah.
Inshallah.
But Tuesday, inshallah.
Tuesday, inshallah, we're going to discuss raising our Islamic Muslim children in a non-Islamic world that we're living in right now, the society that we live in. Especially now we have a lot of issues happening in our schools, in our colleges, universities, that a lot of our Muslim kids aren't really ready for it. So I think we should have a nice little discussion. Inshallah, we'll have a lot of people on board that can ask a lot of questions that they have, and we can kind of talk about how to kind of keep our deen and our religion inside of our children while they're going through out there in the world with the non-Muslims that are around there, inshallah, that have a lot of pressure that they're put on them, peer pressure and all that kind of stuff, inshallah.
So Sunnah followers, prepare yourself and even your kids, and share this very, very important topic. Very important. Alhamdulillah, Brother Muhammad accept to join us every Tuesday, inshallah. 9 p.m. So it's for the time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair, Brother Muhammad, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers is excited to bring to our viewers another treat that will awaken, clarify, and widen our understanding of this beautiful way of life. We are excited to welcome Dr. Daniel Abdul Rahman McBride, who will be joining us each Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for a special class geared to the new Shahadas in facing contemporary issues of today. Dr. Daniel Abdul Rahman McBride is a renowned author of many books, including Who is Right, Who is Wrong, and Why, which is a comparison of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. He has been featured on many popular programs as he breaks down Islam to the viewers from a lens of clarity. Stay tuned, streaming on major platforms, channel Sunnahfollowers. Assalamu alaikum. Sunnahfollowers presents a new and exciting course to add to your Islamic learning and development. Interpretation in Living with the Quran, taught by Sheikh Saad Hassanin, considered to be one of the most accomplished scholars of Quranic science in the United States. He is a member of AMJA, the Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America. He holds a PhD in Islamic Studies, professor at IUM. His specialty is in 10 different styles of Quranic recitation and jurisprudence. Classes will be held every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, streaming right here on Sunnahfollowers.
In alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Akida class. And tonight, this is going to be the last class on the allies of Allah. And then tomorrow, very important topic. How many of you have been asking me about the different sins of disbelief? Now that we've discussed who the allies of Allah are, and now that I've hopefully made it clear to you that either you and we both fall in one of two categories. Either we are allies of Allah or we are allies of Shaitan. And there are certain sins that we commit that fall in the category of disbelief. The Arabic word shirk doesn't just mean to associate partners with Allah. That's the Arabic language. One Arabic word can mean 100 different things, depending on how it's used in a sentence. Shirk also refers to disbelief in Allah. And that's the sin that Allah will never forgive. He'll forgive anything other than that. And a lot of Muslims, old and new, believe that the only sin they have to be concerned with not doing is worshiping an idol. No. There are a lot of sins that fall in the category of disbelief, such as suicide. You die upon that, that's it. Hellfire forever. Another example would be magic. Hellfire forever. Fortune telling, psychic reading. Hell forever. Holding a grudge against another Muslim. Hell forever. Arrogance. The kind where you think that you are above everyone. You think that you are above being corrected. So there's many sins of disbelief, and I'm going to start that class tomorrow. So you don't want to miss it. I've had a lot of the brothers here ask me to teach that class, and so I'm going to appease them and teach it. So please make sure that you spread the word around. Also, please support this dawah effort. I am a nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1986. We are not new. We have been all about the dawah, the true Islam, based on the Quran and Sunnah, with the understanding of those companions since 1986. Please support us. We desperately need your donations. We don't get any funding from the government. Alhamdulillah. Because we don't, you don't have to worry about ever logging into Sunnahfollowers, seeing an LGBTQ person here holding hands with us, talking about we shall overcome. So let's keep it where we don't need any government support. So please, guys, donate. You can donate using Zelle, Cash App, or PayPal, as the little ticker says. And also, I have a lot of new shahadas who have been joining me every day. Many of them are from Reddit. Also, a lot of the imams have been referring their new shahadas to me because I'm teaching what the imams can't teach at the mosque because they have so much going on, other things to do. So I'm teaching you the basics of Islam. This is a class that you do not want to miss. Be here every day at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time so you can get your belief system together. And for the new shahadas on Facebook, because it's so many of you guys, I try to keep an eye on everybody. That's our Facebook group. I made a new Sunnahfollowers Shahada group, so I can keep an eye on you guys, and I can see your comments when you comment on the live stream. Please join it. That's the address at the bottom. When you go to groups, it's all one word: Sunnahfollowers Shahada. It's all one word. please join it so I can keep my eye. And also you can send your friends, invite your friends to join that new Shahada group and stuff too, to learn about Islam, long as everybody behaves. So with that said, let's get to tonight's topic. Tonight we're going to be speaking about the final characteristic that the allies of Allah have. And that is, and I want you to ask yourselves, do you have this characteristic? They would never substitute Allah's laws with the laws of man. They would never think that because society they live in, or the era they live in, if they can tweak Allah's laws and put them in categories of essentials and non-essentials. That's what we're faced with today. A lot of people doing that. So let's put the PowerPoint up. And before I get into this discussion, I'm going to give you guys a quiz. Remember, I did not quiz you yesterday. So I'm going to, because we had other classes. But tonight, I'm going to give you a super quiz. It's a super quiz to cover what we talked about, not just yesterday. Walaikum salam, Pure Source. How are you? It's good to see you here. It's good to see you. Alhamdulillah, from Twitch. MashaAllah, it's good to see all my Twitch people here. Good job. Okay, so, and also just let everybody know we are streaming simultaneously on Twitch, on Rumble, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and Telegram. All you have to do is type channel Sunnahfollowers, just like the finger there. You guys see that finger is pointing. How many of y'all look at what the finger's pointing to? It's pointing to the Sunnahfollowers. That's the channel name. Or you can come to our Zoom room at www.sunnahfollowers.net and click on Zoom. Okay. All right. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So we're going to speak about how the allies of Allah, they accept his laws over man. But before I get into the particulars of tonight's discussion, oh, wrong mouse. I'm going to give you a quiz to cover what we discussed yesterday and the day before. Now, we spoke about how in order to be an ally of Allah, one of the most important characteristics that you must have is you must love for the sake of Allah and also hate for the sake of Allah. And this is something that I want the new Shahadas to really understand. Hate is a part of faith for us. We're Muslims. But our hate does not transgress. We hate for the sake of Allah. Who can tell me what does that mean? What does it mean to love for the sake of Allah? And what does it mean to hate for the sake of Allah? And I'd like to start off with a new Shahada, please. The new Shahadas, y'all can type on the screen and in my Zoom room. Do I have any new Shahadas in there? I left them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
To love for the sake of Allah means to love someone or something for no earthly gain, just for Allah. And to hate for the sake of Allah means that we, truly put hate in our heart for the things that that he thinks are wrong or haram. I hope I'm right.
Good job. Good job. Anybody else? Anybody else want to tweak her answer a little bit or add to it? Good job, Nia. What about the rest of you new Shahadas? Go ahead. Go ahead, wherever that was. Go ahead. Wherever it is on the mic in the Zoom, go ahead.
It means you loving all the things that Allah loves about that person, and you don't take it personal. So say, for instance, if that sister is wearing a hijab and doing all her obligatory things, you love her for that and not her mouth and her nose and how she talk and all that stuff. You don't love her for those things. So you don't take it personal. You only love what Allah loves about that person.
Good job. That's what I want from the people that are not new shahadas. The new shahadas, your answer should have been just like Nia. Good job, Nia. I'm so proud of you. For those of you who were born and raised Muslims, you should be able to go into detail, explaining it, adding to it, like Brother Merard just did. Good job, Merard. And also like Sister Mina did. Okay, so exactly. And Pamela, I like your answer too. Pamela said, let me share hers too. She said, to love for the sake of Allah is to love everything that Allah loves. Good job, Pamela. Good job, Nia. And to hate everything that Allah hates. Good job. Okay, here's another. Let's look at the answer from Twitch. The answer from Twitch. It's loving for the sake of Allah and hating for the sake of Allah. Oh, no. We don't do Wikipedia. No Wikipedia here. Okay, I want you to answer based on your knowledge of Islam, pure source. Don't Google it, because this is basic stuff that every Muslim should know. If you don't know it, then that means you have to learn it. So don't Wikipedia. Answer from your heart. So to simply put it, and by the way, guys, be careful of Google. All new shahadas, listen to me. The Shiites, they paid the money to whenever you use Google for a search, your question is going to automatically go to alislam.org. Alislam.org is owned by the Shiites. One thing that the Shiites have that the people of the Sunnah don't have is money. Okay? So they got all the rights. If you pay enough money to Google, to YouTube, and to all those social platforms, they'll put your stuff first. Well, the Shiites did that. So y'all be careful using Google to try to research Islam, because you're going to end up with some crazy stuff, because the Shiites, their Aqidah is not like ours. The Shiites, they do not believe in the same books we use. They don't accept Bukhari. They don't accept Sahih Muslim. And they hate most of the companions. All they care about is Ali. So don't use Google. If you guys want to learn the religion, you have to learn, like the Prophet said, from the people of knowledge. You got to have a teacher like you guys have. I am your teacher. So just continue to learn this way. Okay, so what does it mean to love for the sake of Allah? It means to love everything that Allah loves. And what does it mean to hate for the sake of Allah? To hate everything Allah hates. And what are the things that Allah loves, Sister Nia? What are the things that Allah loves, and what are the things He hates? Go ahead.
Allah, hold on, baby, hold on. I'm sorry. Allah loves those who follow what He says. And does things, the proper way that He says, like prayers and doing wudu before prayers, and, just everything that He's decreed. Those are the things that He loves. He loves when we do those things. And to hate,
okay, let me make it easier, because you're saying the same thing that they're writing here. Right. Remember, guys, it's real easy. Remember, I told you guys, it's real easy. Allah loves everything what? And Allah hates everything what? That's all you have to. Anybody else want to try? Go ahead. Go ahead. One of the kids. What are the things that Allah loves? It can be, the things Allah loves can be put in one group. And the things that Allah hates can be put in one group. What are those two groups?
The things that Allah made lawful is what He loves, and the things that He makes unlawful is what He doesn't love.
Good job. I want everybody to write that down. Write that down, Nia, Pamela, everybody else. Allah loves everything that he made lawful. That's why we say it's good and clean. Allah says in the Quran, everything that he made lawful is good and clean. And he loves everything that he made lawful. That's why I tell you, new shahadas, don't ever, ever, ever use the word haram unless you have the clear verse from the Quran or the authentic hadith from the Prophet. Because if you say something is haram that Allah didn't mention, you're lying on Allah. Because only Allah has the authority to make things lawful and unlawful. And Allah tells us he loves everything that he made lawful. So he loves prayer. He loves fasting. He loves cleanliness, the things he tells us to do. He loves for us to supplicate. He loves for us to get married. He loves honesty, all the things that Allah commands us to do. These are the things he loves. But on the other hand, he hates everything he made haram, because everything that Allah made haram is bad and dirty. Why come I can't have a dog as a pet? The answer is simple: because it's bad, it's dirty. Why come I can't eat pork? Real simple: because it's bad, it's dirty. Why can't I have a boyfriend? Why can't I have a girlfriend? Why can't I go out clubbing? Why can't I drink and smoke marijuana? Because they're all bad and dirty. So everything that's lawful is good and clean and what Allah loves. On the other hand, everything that he made haram is bad and dirty, and he hates it. And of all the things that Allah hates, the thing he hates the most is for us to speak about him without knowledge. So don't say this is haram if you don't have the verse saying it. Don't tell a Muslim woman that it's haram for her to wear makeup if you can't bring the clear verse, because there ain't no verse that says that. The Prophet's wives wore makeup. Women have been wearing makeup since Allah made Eve. Don't tell a Muslim woman that she got to be ugly. Don't tell a Muslim woman that the tackiest that she look in public, the more blessings she gets, because Allah doesn't like tacky. Allah doesn't like ugly. Allah is beauty and he loves beauty. Do you new shahadas understand that? And I'm talking to the women now, because you're going to come upon a lot of rigid men out there who are going to try to break you, who are going to try to incorporate their own ideology into you as a woman. They want to, because of their own insecurity as a man and their ignorance of this religion, they're going to try to make you think that you're supposed to be ugly and forlorn as a woman. Allah hates ugliness. He hates ugliness. He says he hates it. He loves beauty. Okay? So, good job. Write them two categories down. What about this? Next question. Who can give me an example? Now, remember, we spoke the other day, I think it was yesterday, or it might be the day before. We spoke about how, as Muslims, our allegiance is to each other. We love each other for the sake of Allah. Okay? But there may be a time that we might have to distance ourselves from another Muslim. Who can give an example as to when a Muslim can distance himself from another Muslim? Because we can't do it for just any reason. Who can give us an example as to when a Muslim can separate or distance? I like the word distance better. Distance themselves from another Muslim. Anyone? None of you can think of an example? Okay, good job, Brother Tajri. Brother Tajri said not wearing hijab. Good job. If a Muslim sister is disobeying Allah by not wearing hijab, in that case, I can distance myself. But you should let her know. Let her know, sister, you know we're supposed to cover up. As long as you're not covering up, I'm going to have to distance myself from you. But does that mean if she needs help that we don't help her? What do you guys think?
We definitely still help and guide, because we're our allegiance is to other Muslims, and maybe that sister has an issue as to why she isn't covering. Maybe she doesn't have money. You never know. But I have a question. Can we separate ourselves from Muslims who are just that we think are just really not, who we think may be allies of shaitan? Like, I mean, as far as not wearing hijab, having boyfriends, things like that. We can separate ourselves from.
Okay, so let's just answer the question then. When can a Muslim distance themselves from another Muslim, Nia? You can
I want to say whenever they're taking themselves out of the fold of Islam, or even if they are seeming like they're in the folds of Islam, spreading falsities, about Islam.
Okay, good job. So to make it simple, don't say out of the folds of Islam, because you don't know what's out the folds of Islam. Okay? Out the folds of Islam means it has to be a sin of disbelief. Is not wearing a hijab a sin of disbelief? I'm going to teach that class starting tomorrow.
I would say no.
Okay, the sins of disbelief are to reject or disbelieve in something Allah said. It means exactly what the English word means. I don't believe that wearing a hijab is obligatory. In that case, I'd be a kafir. But just because I don't wear a hijab, am I a kafir? No, I'm a sinner. So how can we categorize this answer? When can a Muslim distance themselves from another Muslim? Good job, Sakina. Good job, Sakina. We can distance ourselves from another Muslim if they are intentionally disobeying Allah. You understand that? First of all, you let them know, because they may not know that it's wrong. And then if they continue, as Sakina wrote here, if they continue to sin, then you tell them, until they stop the sin, I'm going to distance myself from you. If you need any help, I'll help you. But as far as you coming over my house to hang out with me, are you going to let them come over your house and hang out with you guys? No. But if they need help with their bills or something, and you can help them, or if you see them walking in the rain and they need a ride home, can you give them a ride home? Yes. But as far as getting close to me, and you let them know, until you put that hijab on, sister, our relationship is distant. Does everybody understand that? If they are openly sinning, intentionally disobeying or sinning. Everybody understand that? Okay, so and I'm going to talk about that tomorrow when I do the series on sins of disbelief. But that doesn't mean that we don't help each other. That doesn't mean that I don't salam you. Do I still give her salams? If I go to the grocery store and I see Latifa without a hijab on, do I still salam her?
Yes, that's all right.
Yes, I still give her salams and all of that, but I'll tell her, hey, what's up with you? Girl, you better get them dreadlocks out your head. You better get rid of that hair and put that hijab on. Subhanallah. So I want y'all to, that's the only time, guys. Or if the person hurts you, that's something different. Say, for example, the person hurts your honor or your life or your property. That's something that demands qisas. That's something different. You understand, brother Timothy, brother Edward and Timothy, both of y'all typing the same thing. Yeah, if a person hurts your family member or your honor, that's something totally different. Because we believe in qisas, which is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But other than that, okay, yes. Or like Sister Mina said, a person who is creating mischief, that's a sin. Mischief is sinning. You're committing sins. You're slandering. You're backbiting. You're trying to turn the community against the imam. You're slandering the imam. You're trying to put the imam down. This is a sin. We distance ourselves from any Muslim who is knowingly, deliberately, intentionally disobeying a law. Does everybody understand that? That's as simple as it gets. Now, I hear a lot of these other brothers try to teach about allegiance, and they use all these Arabic words that you don't know the meaning of, when most of y'all don't even know what distance means in English. So I'm keeping it real. It's just that simple. A brother comes around you, like the brother was talking about, like Brother Amir said. What happened? By the way, Brother Amir, what did you do? He said a Muslim brother was giving him a ride to work the other day, and he had some vodka in his cup. After you told him, what happened? Did he pick you up the next day? Okay, he said the next day he came, Sister Layla, and he didn't have no vodka. He said, man, I ain't drinking. I'm on the wagon again. Okay, good. Exactly. Do y'all understand? If the person says, okay, I stopped, and they come back around you and they say, I ain't smoking weed, they could be lying. That ain't for you to go around trying to research. They ain't doing it around you no more, so that's all you need to know. Y'all understand that? He could still be drinking his butt off at home, but as long as he ain't doing it where you know about it, you don't smell it, you don't see it. Okay, here's a question from one of the new shahadas, and I can tell you from Texas, ain't you? Okay, big problem down there in Texas. Okay, let me share her question. Let's see how you guys answer. Let's see how you guys answer her question. What about this? I'll try to word it a different way. Give me a second, sister, to word it. What about this, guys? Your brother is LGBTQ. Y'all see why I said I know she from Texas? Y'all see where I'm going? Your brother is LGBTQ. Okay? Do you distance yourself from him because he's LGBTQ? Or do you allow him to come around, but tell him just don't bring his boyfriend with him? How would y'all answer that? What's the correct answer? What is the correct answer based on what Allah and the Prophet said? Not based on what those so-called sheikhs down there in Texas are saying. That's got the youth in Texas confused.
Well, I know you said a lot of us are going to go to hell because we, are accepting of those things. So we're not supposed to even be accepting of that. So I would say definitely separate yourself because especially if he's not, especially if he's acting upon those desires.
Okay. Anybody else? Y'all got any Dalil? Good job, brother Mohabit. Mashallah, good to see you and your wife. Give my salams to your wife. There she is. Y'all got any Dalil? Y'all gonna need some Dalil because you got the famous brothers in Texas putting out fatwas like this young boy here has typed and got him confused. They're saying that we set boundaries. You can let your brother come around you if he's gay, as long as you set the boundary of don't bring your boyfriend. Or you can let your homosexual sister hang out with you as long as you set boundaries. Is that what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught the companions to do? And by the way, they had homosexuals back then too. Don't get it twisted. Sodomy is one of the oldest sins, just like prostitution. What are the two oldest sins on earth? Prostitution and sodomy. It ain't new. It didn't just happen in America in 2024. What did Allah, the Prophet, say? Y'all got any Dalil? Those of you who were born and raised raised Muslim, astaghfirullah. He said, I'm not born Muslim, I was born Christian. I know, but you're getting ready to learn. I'm getting ready to answer you now. Okay, yes, you distance yourself. Is there any evidence, though? Come on, guys. There's a verse in the Quran that y'all hear me say all the time. What does Allah say? What does Allah say about being around people who commit sins? What does Allah say about being around people who commit sins? When we say clear verse, there's a clear verse in the Quran about being around people who commit sins.
Allah says, don't sit in the company of those who do wrong.
Exactly. Allah tells us in the Quran, we don't set boundaries. Allah says, do not sit in the company of those who commit wrong, commit sin. Why would I have my brother who's a homosexual around my children? What kind of, and by the way, the punishment for that sin is grave in Islam. In the Prophet's time, if you had that sin, they would execute you. That's one of the sins, the capital crimes in Islam. If you were of that lifestyle, you wouldn't be able to survive. That's how they did those people. Okay? So if that's a sin that brings about capital punishment, of course, we don't do capital punishment living in America. This ain't no Islamic country. So we just simply distance ourselves completely. We distance ourselves completely. We have nothing to do with these people. We have nothing to do with them at all. So I don't care what those brothers are telling y'all down there in Texas. Those brothers are crazy, man. It totally contradicts what Allah says. As the Prophet said, the evil outweighs any good. The evil in sitting with those people will outweigh any good. Does everybody understand? So if there's a Muslim, first of all, they shouldn't even be allowed in your masjid. If you have a transgender person coming into your masjid, that transgender person, what's part of the repentance? If that transgender person truly repented for her sin, she would let everybody know that I'm really a man. Even though I had a boob job, even though I had myself cut off, I'm really a man. They would let you know that's part of the repentance. You have to make the restitution. The restitution for that sin is you let everybody know I'm not really a woman. I am a man. And if they come to your mosque, I wouldn't let them in. But if they come to your mosque, they cannot pretend to be nothing but what they are, a man. Sit over there with the men. Be with the men. But I wouldn't allow them in my mosque, period. The prophet wouldn't allow them in. Okay, but that's what happens when you get donations from the federal government. And a lot of the masajids have taken money from the government. And so they got to abide by the government's laws. They got to let homosexuals in their mosques. They got to put a transvestite on their executive board. That's what happens. And that's why I'm telling y'all, Sunnahfollowers, inshallah, we are a nonprofit organization. You don't have to worry about no gay blaze sitting up in here. Please support us so we don't have to take no government money, because the government money comes with gays now. You got to put them in your mosque. Okay? We all clear on that answer? So we distance ourselves from any Muslim that disobeys Allah. Okay? But that doesn't mean that we don't help them. If it's a sin of capitalism like that, I'm sorry, they're totally cut off. They're boycotted. In an Islamic state, they'd be, something worse. But for us, we just cut them off, boycott them completely. All right, next question. Which of the following is an example of the obligatory love? Remember, we talked yesterday about how as Muslims, we're supposed to have love for the Prophet Muhammad, but the love for him is of two types: obligatory love and voluntary. Something that in other words, some things we have to love him. We have to show love for him by doing them. Other things we don't have to do to show love for him. Let's see if you guys understood that lecture yesterday. Let's start with the first one. What about this? Taking a bath the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took a bath. Is that an example of the obligatory love, of showing obligatory love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? In other words, how did he take a bath? He would start off making wudu, then he'd wash his private parts, then he washed the right side of his body, then he washed the left side of his body, then he poured water over his hair 3 times, then he'd move his feet, and then he'd wash and that, etc. Is this an example of obligatory love? Do we have to do that?
No, we do not. But we do it because we love him, we respect him, and we follow him. So that is the reason why.
Exactly. This is not something that we have to do. But people do it, like she said, to show their reverence to him. But I don't have to do that. All I have to do is get in the shower and let that water run over my body and rub it all over my body. And that's technically a ghusl. Okay? What about this? Uh-oh, I hit the wrong buttons, y'all. I'm using 2 computers. What about this? Combing your hair the way he did. The Prophet used to comb the right side of his hair first, and he wore his hair in braids sometimes too. Okay, sometimes he let his hair grow long to his shoulders. Okay. Is this an example of something that's obligatory for you brothers?
No.
Good job. No, it's not. Yes, and I know every time I talk about this hair stuff, I understand that man in Saudi Arabia put some video out telling you brothers that wearing braids is haram, it's imitating a woman. I don't know why he told y'all that, because he works for the government probably over there. They say whatever the king tell him. But the Prophet Muhammad would wear his hair in braids, guys, sometimes. Sometimes he would wear his hair in braids when they went out on the battlefield. When he came into Medina, when they migrated from Mecca to Medina, the Prophet had his hair in braids. But oftentimes he would put his hair in braids when he went out to fight. Okay, so braids is not haram for men. I know every time I bring this up, y'all tell me that, you don't, when people tell you something is haram, they have to bring the evidence, the clear evidence. If they don't bring the clear evidence, then you just don't accept it. You ain't got to talk about him or any of that. Just say, well, I ain't going to accept that, and keep it moving. Okay, what about this? To stay away from the things that the Prophet said to stay away from. Is that an example of obligatory love for him?
Yes.
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 Good job. Exactly. Yes, it is. Give me an example of something that he said not to do.
Sit while drinking, or was it stand while drinking?
Okay, that's an example of an abrogated hadith. That's why y'all got to be careful with those hadiths. The Prophet canceled that. In the beginning of Islam, he said, do not eat or drink while standing. But then later, when he did the conquest of Mecca, he abrogated that. He said, I told you guys before not to stand or while eating or drinking, but now you can do it. And he stood and drank from the well of Zamzam. So that's an abrogated hadith. But that is an example, though, but it's abrogated. I want y'all to know that y'all can eat and drink standing. What's another example? Be careful of Muslim. Muslims' hadiths are all authentic, but Imam Muslim included the abrogated hadiths. Okay.
Shaking their clothes 3 times and saying Bismillah before putting them on.
What happened?
Would there be one of the obligation love of the Prophet? It's a sunnah of like shaking your clothes 3 times before putting them on.
Who shook their clothes 3 times?
The Prophet ﷺ, I thought we shake our clothes 3 times and then put them on.
Girl, that's that Sufi mystic crap.
Okay.
We don't shake no clothes. Okay.
Eating with your hands.
Okay, good job. Eating with your fingers. That's an example of something that he did. But I want an example of something that he said to not do. Give me an example of something that the Prophet said to not do. Okay, good job. Mina said, he said, do not introduce anything new into this way we worship. Exactly. Good job. Good job.
Do not shave for the men.
What's that again?
Do not shave your beard for the men.
Exactly. Don't shave your beard. That's a command from the Prophet. You brothers are not supposed to shave your beards. What else?
To hate some of his companions and to love others.
Exactly. The Prophet said, do not hate his companions. Anyone who hates his companions is not one of us. Okay, but look how many of these so-called Muslims hate Aisha. They hate Umar. They hate Khalid bin Walid. Exactly. Do not hold a grudge against another Muslim. Good job.
We're celebrating his birthday.
Exactly.
Brother Isa.
Good job celebrating his birthday. He was clear on that. So you guys see, if we are obligated to obey him. Remember, Allah says in the Quran, obey me and obey the messenger. We have to obey him in everything he told us to do in regards to this religion. Okay, but how many Muslims obey him? Very few. And again, y'all answered this. Is eating with your fingers, is this an example of obligatory love or voluntary love?
It's voluntary.
Yes, voluntary. Exactly. Good job. So, we also spoke yesterday about how loving the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is an obligation upon each and every one of us. If you don't have love for him, you're not a Muslim. Just like if you don't have love for Allah, you're not a Muslim. And we talked about how there are certain things that we can do to develop love for him. What are some of the things that we can do that will cause us to develop love for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Learning about him and his life.
Number one. Good job, Nia. That's number one. Good job, Timothy. Good job, Edward. Good job, Elizabeth. Exactly. Assalamu alaikum, Elizabeth. Good to see you made it in. Exactly, guys. We need to learn about his life. Learn about him. That's why we have Brother Mukhtar here doing the stories of the companions and the history of Islam. So you can see what type of person he was. I've learned about the Prophet all my life, but this past year, I fell deeply in love with him. I mean, I've always loved him. I ain't never loved him like a woman love a man until this past year. When I did that series on the wives of the Prophet and the female heroines of Islam, I don't know, something happened. I broke up with Moses. Me and Moses had a thing. Been saving myself for Moses. But when I did that series,
I took Moses from you.
Yeah, okay. I broke up with Moses and said, I'm going for the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I fell in love with him like a woman loves a man. Oh, God. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a man. Oh, my God. Woo. So, learning about him, his life, how he treated his wives, how kind he was to the children, how he treated his stepchildren as if they were his, how kind he was to the slaves, to the traveler, how he never sought revenge for himself, how the people slandered him, how the people talked about him, but he never sought revenge. He only took revenge if they talked about Allah. Oh, he turned into a lion then. Also his intelligence, his wisdom, how he walked. Oh my God. What a man, what a man, what a man. Plus he had big hands and big feet.
Can we develop love for our prophet by also imitating him?
Exactly. Another way to develop love for him is to try to be like him. And that's something that I encourage you brothers to do, especially you brothers into the polygamy. Your wives, many of your wives are unhappy and miserable. The children that come out of these polygamy marriages are messed up, many of them, because of what they've seen their mothers go through. If you brothers would adapt the lifestyle that the prophet had, treat your wives the way he did. He never spent the night with a woman if it was not her night. He didn't go mattress hopping. If it was my night, he spent that entire day and night with me. He wouldn't go to no other woman during that day or night. If you brothers would imitate the prophet, then maybe your marriages wouldn't be so corrupt and your children wouldn't grow up hating Islam and apostating and hating women and hating men. Okay, so that's one of the things we can do to develop a love for him, is try to be like him, imitate him in everything. What else can we do? Exactly. Good job, Kadia, to also send blessings upon him. When you hear his name mentioned, say, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. There's a lot of reward in doing that too. You get a lot of blessings for that. Also, just learn about his companions and his wives. Exactly, sisters. What's your name? I can't read it. It's so small. But whatever your name is, good job when you learn about his wives and how happy they were. She said, that's what's making, okay, I'm gonna read. She said, that's what's making me love him when I listen to your series on his wives. Yes, he was a good man. She said, I come from an abusive background. What? She said, I am a new Shahada. I was abused by my father. I was abused by my uncles. And every relationship I had with a man was abusive. She said, when I came upon your lectures, your short videos about wives of Prophet, that's what got me interested in Islam 2 years ago, and I became Muslim because I don't want no more abuse. May Allah bless you, sister, and inshallah, may you never have any more abuse. Ameen, ameen. And I'm glad my shorts, I made shorts out of those, y'all. I did that series. I can't even remember if I did shorts on them. Well, I hope my shorts were, well, alhamdulillah. I got to check out those shorts. Yeah, may Allah bless you. Yeah, well, stick here to our website. And make sure for the new Shahadas, if you guys are on Facebook, join our Facebook group. You see that little ticker there? The group is called Sunnahfollowers Shahada. That way I can keep an eye on you, sister. Okay, and welcome here. You know, welcome to our to Sunnahfollowers. Alhamdulillah. Exactly. When you learn about him, guys, that'll help you to develop a love for him. Good job. Okay, last question. We also spoke yesterday about how we can look within ourselves. We sit down one-on-one. Yes, Brother Shaheed is one of the administrators of that group. Yeah, you will see him in there, inshallah. Yes, it's got the, yeah, you see that sign he got? That's the group. Yeah, that's the group. Let me put it here. Y'all see that? Because I know the other Sunnah follower group is for people that's been Muslim, but this one, you'll see it's got the difference is it has the hat, the gold Sunnah followers hat. That's the group. No, that's not. Is that the group, y'all? I'm confused now.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, he's in that group. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Okay, she says she's joining it now. Okay, alhamdulillah. We talked about how you can look within yourself and see if you have signs that may be indicative that you love the Prophet. What are some of the signs that you love him? Who can give us some answers?
When you become angry when someone is talking against the Prophet or Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or backbiting him.
Girl, that's the number one, guys. I'm going to tell y'all something. Oh, yes, I can always tell when my love and faith grows because it makes me sick to my stomach, literally to the point of irritable bowel syndrome. When I hear people lie on the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, lie on his sunnah. When I hear people take a hadith and twist it around like they do that one, what's that one about marriage? That marriage is half your deen. And they use it to make women, new shahadas, think that if they get married, Allah is going to send half the knowledge of Islam to them from sex. That burns me up. That's one of the number one signs that you love him. When you hear people speaking badly about him, or they're lying on him, or they're twisting his words around to mean things that they don't mean. Good job. Good job, Qadiyatu. As Qadiyatu said, also another sign is that you love him is you will do everything in your power to live according to his example. You ain't gonna care about what the four imams had to say. I ain't never cared about what the four imams got to say. All I care about is what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And if I need further clarification, I care about what those companions said. That's a big sign of love for him, where you make his example supreme, not anyone else's. I hear a lot of brothers today giving lectures, and they always talk about the four imams. May Allah bless them all, by the way. They always talk about Ibn Taymiyyah. May Allah bless him too. I mean, I'm one of his students. What can I say? My ijazah includes Ibn Taymiyyah. But I'm sorry, y'all don't hear me. When I'm teaching, I'm not teaching from any of their books. You know, I'm teaching from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sunnah. Okay? I'm going to tell y'all what he said, not what no imam said or anyone else. I'm going to tell you what he said about being an ally of Allah, what he said about faith, what he said about marriage, what he said about sex, what he said about everything, not these other people. That's a sign. What else? Exactly. As Sister Sakina said, another sign that you love him is you don't question what he says. You believe everything he said and don't question it. Big example. He said a non-believer can never be a ruler or a leader over us. You believe that. So when the rest of the Muslims are running around like a chicken without a neck because they scared of the white man, they scared of the white man and they voting in elections, you will look at them and say, the Prophet said we don't do that. The Prophet said that the power and might lies in the hands of Allah, not in Trump, not in Angela, not in the rainbow team. The rainbow team is going to be burning, baby, because they are rainbow. Okay? That's another sign too. You obey him in everything he said, and you believe everything he said. He said, the Prophet said, any country, any nation, he said, any nation that appoints a woman as its ruler will never succeed. He wasn't just talking about Persia. He didn't say if Persia. He said any. He used in the Fusha, any nation. That means any country in the world that appoints a woman as its ruler and its leader will never succeed. People even tore that hadith up. Oh yeah. To justify voting for some rainbow. They voted for homosexuals to be your rulers. Muslims voted for homosexuals to be your ruler. And they tore all them hadiths up to justify their sickness. Okay? Also, good job, Mina. Another sign of having love for him is that you long to be with him. You just want to be with him. You look around you and say, wow, this world is so crazy. The people here are so crazy. Nobody gets me. Nobody understands me. I just want to be with the prophet. I just want to be with his wives. I just want to be with Carla. I just want to just shake Nusaybah's hand and say, hold me. SubhanAllah. That's a sign of love for him and his companions. Yeah. So that's what we spent the past 2 days talking about. And I'm going to save the lecture for tomorrow because it's 8 o'clock. And I know I got some new shahadas here. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me cut this down. Wait a minute. I got some new shahadas here who have to go to work third shift because they're nurses. And I don't want them to miss it. Okay. That's why I like y'all to be in my that's a Facebook group, so I can keep an eye on you guys and you guys can let me know whatever things need to be known. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop right here. And tomorrow, tomorrow I'll do the lecture. What happened here where it says add item, guys? Y'all see that? Oh, I see it. I fixed it. Tomorrow I'm going to do the last and final lecture of this series. Tomorrow we're going to speak about
You mean Friday, Sister Leila? Tomorrow we have Dr. McBride.
Oh, and by the way, guys, Brother Youssef's back. You remember the brother that's teaching about the history of Palestine? He's going to resume his classes on the January 3rd. Yes, tomorrow we have Dr. McBride. She's right. So I'll do the last lecture on Friday for this topic. Okay, here's a question here. Let's see. What is it? Sister Layla, am I allowed to go to a company dinner in January? As long as it ain't celebrating no holiday, and as long as you don't sit at the table. Let me tell you about these company dinners. My job, because I worked for the state, I retired from the state. They would have these company luncheons and company meetings at restaurants. And I would let them know there has to be a table with no alcohol. But alhamdulillah, I had co-workers who were Jehovah's Witnesses, and I had co-workers who were Seventh-day Adventists, and I had some strict Christians who didn't drink either. So whenever we went to our breakfasts together, because we worked third, we would always sit at a table that's with no alcohol, no smoking, or none of that. So yes, you can go as long as you do not sit at the table, because there's an authentic hadith. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim, where the prophet says, do not sit at a table that serves alcohol. Okay? So yes, you can go, just don't sit at the table. Get you a table that has no people there drinking or smoking or any of that. Although you can't smoke in restaurants no more anyway in America. That's one good thing that happened. Yeah.
So I got a question.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of that, sometimes like when you go to a restaurant like Red Lobsters and they have that little area where it's like the pickup, I guess it's like orders to go or whatnot. Sometimes they have their bar. They'll tell you to come there and place an order for you, like to go.
You ain't sitting there. Don't sit there. You go there and place your.
It's okay to just wait there for your order, or just say, well, can you take my order? I got a dash.
I usually place my order and go sit somewhere else.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit right there. They'll let you know when your order's up. Yeah. We don't sit at a table where there's alcohol being served. And it means exactly that. You place your order and go sit somewhere else. Or just you can, now they can give them your phone number and they'll call you from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many ways to get around that now. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So a sister wants to know, because her brother's not able to get a hold of the imam, her husband messaged her and said that they sent me the screenshot. Okay. He said so basically he's not doing his part, and the message says, I want us to be a team. If you just want me to pay your bills, I'll pay your rent next month. Give your daughter her money, and I want a divorce. So they want to know, does this count as divorce? Because they're not able to get a hold of the man.
Did he say, I divorce you? Nope. A divorce is when
I pay your rent, and then I want a divorce.
A divorce is when a man says, I divorce you. Not I want a divorce. I want a cookie. You know, to make something end, you have to say it's ended. So if he tells her, I divorce you, then they are divorced.
Can a woman tell a man also, I divorce you? And does it have to be 3 times?
No, a woman cannot divorce a man. A woman has to go to a judge or an imam who specializes in divorce for divorce. And no, we only divorce once. We say it one time. That's it. Anybody that says it 3 times has innovated in this religion, and it still doesn't count except for one divorce. Yeah. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. My Mekhalsidic Tafsir class, we're going to speak about the woman-initiated divorce, because we talked about Talik, the man-initiated divorce, yesterday. Tomorrow I'm going to cover the Khula. It's called a Khula. That's a woman-initiated divorce. And a woman has to go to a judge or an imam who specializes in divorce. And he will divorce her. Yes. That's because we women are crazy. I mean, let's just admit it. We're moody and crazy. We can't control our tempers. So for our protection, Allah made it a little harder for us. Men can control their emotions better than us. So that's why a man doesn't have to go to another person. But us women, we're extremely emotional. We say things we don't mean. So that's why Allah, you see, all of Allah's laws are for our betterment. So to seek for our betterment, a woman has to go through a judge or an imam who specializes in divorce.
Sister Layla, I have 2 questions. With the divorce, can a man divorce you if you're on your cycle too?
No, he has to wait till after the cycle. If he does that, it doesn't count.
And even for women who have, like had hysterectomies and stuff like that, like you said, they still have to wait that 3-month period.
As long as it's not a irrevocable divorce. As long as it's not the 3rd time. The 3rd time he divorces you, the marriage is over automatically.
And you have to marry again to somebody else.
Yeah.
Before you can marry them again.
Because normally that don't happen. You know how women are. If women marry another man, she ain't coming back to you. See, Allah knows his creation. He knows how we are. Once a woman tastes the sweetness of another man, she realizes that your rod ain't gold and she ain't coming back.
That's exactly how it happens.
That's why Allah is the best. He made these laws to protect us.
And second, Sister Layla, is that Sufi shaking your clothes? Because I always thought that was a sunnah, when you shake your clothes and say Bismillah before putting them on.
There is no hadith on planet Earth that mentions anything about shaking clothes. Now, what the Prophet used to do is he would put his clothes on, and if he looked at himself in the mirror, he would make dua, asking Allah to make him beautiful in character as he made him in dress. But the Sufis have a lot of fabricated hadiths.
Okay.
A lot of fairy tales. So that's why I tell y'all, get in the habit. When people start telling you, anytime a person tells you that you have to do something or you should do something, those are the warning signs of innovation. They have to bring the clear verse where the Prophet said, before you put clothes on, you have to shake them out and then say Bismillah. Where's the evidence? Who said that? Like I say, the Sufis have so many fairy tales, it's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Sister Layla, I have a question. During our menses, is there like specific prayers or anything that we should be doing?
No, a woman.
Since we are not.
No, we can't pray at all on our menses. Any woman that prays on her menses has the curse of Allah on her. But we can do anything else. We can make dua. We can supplicate. That supplicate means to talk to Allah. You can talk to Allah whenever you want to. But as far as praying the salat, you cannot do salat or fast on your menses. Any woman that does that has the curse of Allah on her. But you can always talk to Allah. You can talk to Allah. That's what supplication is. You can make dua. Yeah. And we should make dua all the time, whether you're on your menses or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, brother. Type your question. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, for the new shahadas, for those of you, that's why I tell you guys, be careful. For all the new shahadas here, the only 2 hadith books that I encourage you to read, because you're new to Islam, is Bukhari and Muslim. Leave them other ones alone, because 30 to 35% of the hadiths in those other books are not authentic. And you'll be running around here. Exactly. That's not authentic either. A spider did not weave a web around the cave. That's a fairy tale. That's another Sufi fairy tale. When the Prophet ﷺ hid with Abu Bakr from the Quraysh, Allah tells us in the Quran that he sent the angels of mercy who spread their wings and blocked the Quraysh from seeing him. That's in the Quran. And even Abu Bakr, what's the source? Bukhari. And Sahih Bukhari, Abu Bakr does not mention anything about a spider or a spider web or doves. All of that stuff, those are fairy tales. Yes, the angels are the soldiers of Allah. When Allah wants something to be done, he tells the angels, and they jump and do whatever Allah commands them to do to protect us. And that's why Allah says in the Quran that the angels are protectors over us. Okay? So the angels spread their wings and prevented the Quraysh from seeing him. Not a spider web, not a bird. Okay? Yeah, that's the Quran. Yeah, that's why I say be careful, because you guys are new to Islam. And there's so much stuff that's not authentic. There's more hadiths out there that's not authentic than there are those that are. That's a fact. Yes. 85% of the knowledge of Islam can be found in Sahih Bukhari alone. Yes. Okay, any other questions? And by the way, guys, the 9:30 class is the prayer. I'm going to give you guys a quiz in that class too. I'm going to quiz you on the eclipse prayer. And then I'm going to speak about the prayer for rain. Yes, we have a prayer for rain. I'm going to talk about that. That's at 9:30. So make sure you guys take this break. New shahadas, take this break to eat your dinner, get your clothes together for tomorrow, whatever it is you got to do. Put the kids down for the night and then come back at 9:30 so we can talk about that the eclipse prayer and the rain prayer. All right. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Oh, thank you, brother. He said that Imam Abdul Rashid sent you here. Okay, Imam Abdul Rashid. He said he's happy that Imam Abdul Rashid sent him here. He said he's learned so much. He said, I've learned so much from you in the past week. MashaAllah. Okay, alhamdulillah. Make dua for me, because God, Allah knows I need it. All right, so I'll be back at 9:30, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.